Okay, let's talk about something that happens to literally everyone. You've walked into a room with a mission, a purpose, and then, poof, it's gone. Today, we're going to get into why that happens. It's all about something called the doorway effect.
You know this feeling, right? You get up from your desk, you walk with purpose all the way to the kitchen, you get there and nothing. Your mind is a total blank. You're just standing there, staring into space, trying to remember what on earth you needed.
Well, believe it or not, this little brain fart is so common that scientists have actually given it a name. It's called the doorway effect, and it's a real, documented psychological phenomenon. So no, you're not going crazy.
And here's the most important thing to get right away. Your brain isn't broken. Not at all. In fact, this strange little moment of forgetfulness, it's actually solid proof that your brain is running perfectly, exactly the way it's supposed to.
So, to understand why this happens, we've got to take a look at how our brains file away information. Think of it like a super efficient mental filing cabinet. Deep inside your brain, you've got this part called the hippocampus. And maybe the best way to picture it is as your own personal librarian. Its main job is to take all your experiences and sort them into neat little event files or chapters. Okay, so here's how that process actually works. Let's say you have a thought. Something simple like, I'm thirsty, I should go get a drink. Now, the moment you walk through a doorway, it acts like a signal to your brain. Your brain says, okay, that's the end of one scene. It closes the file labeled Stuff I Was Thinking in the Living Room and opens up a brand new, fresh file for things to do in the kitchen. Now, the problem is that original thought, I need a drink, was being held in what's called your working memory. Your working memory is kind of like a temporary sticky note for your brain. It's fantastic for holding a small bit of info for a very short time, but it's not permanent. So when your brain closes that old chapter to start a new one, that little mental sticky note can easily get lost in the shuffle. It just falls off as your brain clears the deck to focus on the new room you just entered. Now, I know this might sound like a pretty clumsy system, but there's a really powerful evolutionary reason for it. This isn't just a random glitch, it's actually an ancient survival tactic that's hardwired into us.
Think about it. Thousands and thousands of years ago, our ancestors were navigating a much more dangerous world. Every single time they entered a new space, whether it was a cave or a clearing in the woods, their brain's #1 job was to immediately scan that new environment for any potential threats or, resources like food. Their survival literally depended on it.
Let's put it this way. From a survival standpoint, what was more important? Remembering that you were looking for some berries you saw in the last clearing, or noticing the massive tiger hiding in the bushes right in front of you? Yeah, your brain evolved to prioritize the present moment, dropping less important info to focus on what's happening right here, right now.
So how does that ancient brain wiring play out today? I mean, we probably don't have tigers in our living rooms, but we do have a whole new set of distractions that triggered the exact same response.
This is where it gets really interesting. The predators and rival tribes of the past have just been replaced. Today, our brains are dealing with the constant buzz of phone notifications, endless social media feeds, and non-stop group chat messages.
And here's the kicker. Every single time your phone pings and you glance at it, your brain treats that switch in attention like you just walked through a digital doorway. It registers a new event, closes the old file on what you were doing, and opens a new one. And bam, just like that, you've forgotten your original goal.
In fact, get this, studies have found that the average person now switches their attention dozens of times every single hour. Each of those little switches creates what psychologists call an event boundary, which constantly challenges our working memory and makes it so much harder to hold on to a thought.
This also explains why that classic trick actually works. You forget why you're in the kitchen, so you walk back to the living room and it pops right back into your head. That's because your memory is tied to your environment. The room itself is the trigger that helps your brain reopen the correct mental file.
But here's the good news. You're not totally powerless against this. You can actually teach your brain to be better at carrying your thoughts across these thresholds. There are a few simple brain hacks you can use.
Okay, trick number 1 is all about visualization. It's super simple. Before you walk through a doorway, just pause for 1 second. In that second, create a really strong, clear mental picture of what you're about to do. Actually see yourself grabbing the scissors. This simple act basically puts a big, bold, important label on that mental file, making it much less likely to get lost.
And trick number 2 is something you've probably already figured out on your own.
If you forget, don't just stand there getting frustrated. Just retrace your steps. Go back to where you started. Returning to the original environment, the fancy term is context reinstatement, is often the absolute quickest way to bring that memory rushing back.
All right, now it's time to put all this knowledge into practice with a little experiment. Let's call it the Forgetting Challenge. Here's the mission. For the next week, I want you to become a scientist of your own mind. Keep a little notebook with you or just use a note on your phone. Every single time you experience the doorway effect, I want you to just quickly write down what you forgot and where you were when it happened. You might be shocked at how often this is happening.
So, as we wrap this up, if there's one thing you remember, make it this. The doorway effect isn't a bug in your programming. It's a feature. It's a really sophisticated, ancient feature that was designed to help you survive and adapt to new situations.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. What does this seemingly tiny little glitch tell you about the incredibly complex ways your brain is constantly working, quietly, in the background, to help you navigate your world every single day? Pretty cool to think about, right?